Poštovani gledalci, dobroveče. Moje ime je Dragan Rakonjac i ja živim u Americi već punih 21 godinu. Za tih 21 godinu nagledao sam se i naslušao mnogo lepih i interesantnih priča. Upoznao sam dosta i interesantnih ljudi koji su živjeli, neki su još uvek živi, ali nažalost puno njih koji su zaista obeležili neki period naše migracije ovdje u Americi više nema. Ljudi su ostarili pa su otišli na onaj drugi svet. U ovoj današnjoj emisiji ja ću vas upoznati sa jednom zaista interesantnom osobom koju sam upoznao pre nekih 15 godina, a to je čovek koji je zaista veoma veliki ovde u Kaliforniji. Bio je veliki posebno u Palm Springsu. On je srpskog porekla po ocu, po majci je Indijanac. I ono što je vrlo interesantno, Richard Milanović je bio poglavica indijanskog plemena u Palm Springsu dugo vremena. On je čovek koji je zaista učinio jako puno za indijanski narod. Ja sam, zahvaljujući svojim dragim prijateljima Ratku i Kris Cvjetić, imao zadovoljstvo da upoznam Richarda i nekoliko puta sam bio zaista njegov gost. Napravili smo razgovor pre 10 godina kada je bila proslava ovde u Los Angelesu. Organizovali smo da odemo kod njega da napravimo jedan intervju. Pa ćete vi danas pogledati taj intervju koji su vodili Ratko Cvjetić i novinar Marko Lopušina. Tada je to bilo objavljeno u svim srpskim medijima. Ja sam napravio televizijsku emisiju koja je tada bila emitovana. A evo sada u martu mesecu se navršava 8 godina kako je Richard umro.
Okay, the beautiful Spa Casino Hotel was renovated in 1998 and it has over 2,500 square feet of spa facilities. The tribal chairman Richard Milanović wanted this spa to be as well as any spa in all of America. So they did a lot of research and they also want to incorporate the cultural and spiritual significance of the healing waters of the spa.
My name is Richard Milanović, Richard Michael Milanović. My dad was named Steve Milanović. Came over, his parents came from the old country, from what I understand, from Zagreb, even though it was Croatian territory, it was Croatian territory. That's where his parents came from. They settled in Cleveland and Gary, Indiana. I still have family on my father's side in Gary and in Indiana. No, I was born here in Palm Springs. And my dad came out first in 1939 or 1940, right before the war, with the California Civilian Conservation Corps, which is a job organization. Met my mother, who was visiting in Los Angeles at that time, and he went back to Gary, where he was working in the steel mills there in Gary, Indiana. He was one of the teamsters for the steel mills. He went back to Gary, Indiana, said that he met and was going to marry an Indian princess, which he ended up doing. And then he was called off to the war. He went into the war. He served in the South Pacific. I have an older sister, so he has two children. He had two children. When he came back from the war, he did survive the war, and he came back, and he was married to my mother. He continued on. He went back to Gary. Who knows why? But he went back to Gary, and I didn't really know my dad. I didn't know him for whatever reason. So I grew up with my mother's family, with my mother's culture, the Native American culture. I never understood or had the face interaction with my dad or his family, not until I was 15 or 16, when I went back to Cleveland and met his sister, my Aunt Sophie, and her daughter and her son, my cousin Peggy, and her brother Paul. But Aunt Sophie was the one who I met and was staying with when I was in Cleveland, when I met my dad after that long period of time where I never really knew my dad. I was back there a couple of months, and then Virginia is my sister. We came back, and my dad followed. A couple of years later, he came out. You know, it's interesting. My mother never divorced my dad, or my dad never divorced my mother from when they were married in the 40s, right before the war, up through 1966, I think it was, when they finally got a divorce. I guess they felt it wasn't necessary to get a divorce at the time, whatever. But they did not interact or anything like that. So they didn't get a divorce until my mother remarried at that time. So that's when they got a divorce, 60s. My dad came out probably in the 70s, early 70s, was living here, got a job. So that's when I really got to know my dad and a couple of my kids. I have 6 children now. I initially had 2 boys that my dad got to know, not all that well, but they were still too young, 2 and 4, 5 and 6. I mean 6 and 8. He didn't really know him that long. He passed away relatively young in 1974 at 57 years old from a heart attack. He had a hard life, I guess, back in Gary and Cleveland, and but that's when he passed away. It was a surprise that he passed so young in 1974. My mom passed away in 1972. She was not 72, pardon me. She was 72 when she passed away. It's been 12 years now that she's been gone. So I have, like I said, I have 6 children, 2 from my first wife. I have a daughter from a previous relationship, and then I have 3 from my present wife, 2 other boys and another daughter. So my oldest children is a daughter, and my youngest is a daughter, and then 4 boys in between. 3 grandchildren. 1 from my oldest daughter and 1 each from my 2 oldest boys. So each of my oldest children have a daughter. So I have 3 granddaughters. My oldest daughter is 46. My oldest son, Sean, is 38, 39. Then 37, my next one, and then my following son is 28, 26. And then my daughter just turned 23.
Sons Milanovic too?
Yes.
Grandsons
Yes.
to Milanovic?
Yes.
Great.
Yes.
In
Yes.
Serbia this
Yes.
is very important.
Yes, indeed. Yes, they're still Milanovic. Yes.
Yeah. Very nice.
And like I said, 3 granddaughters, and my 2 oldest boys work for the tribe. My oldest daughter has a horse ranch in Wildemar near Lake Elsinore, call it the Arabian Stud Ranch. They're in Elsinore. My 2 youngest children are still in school, are still going to school, California Baptist College in Riverside.
Beautiful.
As far as me being I grew up, as I said, with my mother's people. That's all I knew. Understanding the Indian way to the extent possible, although I'm somewhat light-skinned. My sister, Virginia, is much darker skinned than I, for whatever reason. I don't know why. But I'm 67. I've been on tribal council. My mother was also on tribal council. She was one of the first women on the tribal council in the 1950s, mid-1950s, one of the first. I got on council in 1977. I had 3 terms as a member, which is a 1-year term, 1 term as a secretary, which is a 2-year term, and then I was elected chairman in 1984. And I've been re-elected ever since. I had my last election this year, making that 26 years, finished up 26 years, I believe it is. Or I'm starting my 26th year now, this year. I'll have 28 years by the time my term ends in 2012.
Did you was president of all Indians in the United States?
No. Each tribal government has its own governing body.
Yeah.
So I am the chairman of this organization. I serve on many other boards through Indian country, like with the National Congress of the American Indian. I also serve on the Department of the Interior's Office of Special Trustee. I'm the chairman of that committee, which helps guide the Interior on the Office of Special Trustee. And I've been on a lot of different organizations through my tenure as chairman and on the council. I think it's important to be involved with your community as much as you can, both on a local level, state level, as well as a federal level. So I've been on many different boards and many different organizations for a long time.
Gde nalazi tolku energiju za tako velike obaveze?
Probably from my dad. I think the combination of the Native American blood and the Serbian blood, it's a perfect combination because both
Very nice.
both being culturally, in my sense, I can identify with both because I know a little bit about the Serbian people and their nationalistic attitudes and the strength that they have to gather from within about being proud of who they are and continuing to move forward to protect who they are, protect your people. So that's what you do when you realize I'm protecting my Native American blood as well as I'm protecting my Serbian blood at the same time. It's a very great mixture in my estimation. My mother, the first all-woman tribal council, when she served on the tribal council, developed a tribal constitution similar to the U.S. Constitution, similar to any constitution that any sovereign has that guides the tribe in its everyday life. It outlines the responsibilities that the council has. It gives us the authority to act on behalf of the tribal membership, to interact with the local government, state government, and federal government. It spells out the duties of each of the individuals on the tribal council. There are 5 members to the tribal council: chairman, vice chairman, secretary, treasurer, and 2 members. The 3 officers serve 2-year terms, and the members serve a 1-year term. So every 2 years I had to rerun or run again. And fortunately I've been reelected all these times.
Molim te za pomoć. To je kombinacija politike i biznisa, koliko ja razumem, ovi poslovi. Kako se snalazi, u čemu se bolje snalazi, gospodin Richard, u biznisu ili politici?
Of the tribe.
That's a good question. Where do I feel more comfortable, in the business or the politics? I think I appreciate both aspects of the tribal government, both the business aspects as well as the political aspects, because dealing with the political aspects, it has more of a lasting impact. And I think the benefit of dealing with the politicians from city government to state government to federal government, you're able to interact with individuals which have a great impact on who you and your people are. They're the decision makers, and how they govern can have a negative impact on you, or it can have a positive impact on you. Okay. So when you can deal with those individuals and those federal agencies, state agencies, and get your voice heard, at least heard, it's very gratifying to me to have that ability to do that and to think that I am making a difference, making a positive difference with these individuals, giving them another voice that maybe they would not otherwise have, because when they say Milanovich, Indian tribe, chairman, how, why, it always surprises people. It used to surprise them. It does not surprise them anymore. They understand who I am and where my voice is and why my voice is important, because it's not necessary to rant and rave. I think I speak very deliberately and with some reason, sound reasoning, logic, and they appreciate that. Anyone appreciates someone that can speak with reason and logic. I don't go and say, you're discriminating against us. I don't call them names. Let's work out the problems that are there. From the business side of it, that is more of it's very rewarding to me to know that I helped develop the 2 casinos. I helped develop buy back our first hotel, the Spa Hotel. I helped move forward to purchase it in the first place, and then develop the casinos, develop the other hotel, develop this nice office that we're in. We have 2 golf courses now, 2 hotels, 2 casinos, and multiple other types of economic development projects, both that are ongoing, that are in the works. We're working on solar energy right now. A couple of those individuals you saw right now downstairs, they're with the solar energy, trying to work out some deals.
You're in the banking business too.
We also have the bank. Thank you. Yeah, we also have a bank. Canyon National Bank is 57% owned by the tribe. 47%, pardon me. 47% owned by the tribe. So.
I kako je bilo sad u krizi ili prošla kriza?
The economy, the economic downturn in the U.S. economy has had some negative effects on us, naturally, across the board. The casinos, the revenues are down across the board in the casinos. They're down. The bank is having some their own issues. The hotels are doing great. The casinos are down. We're still keeping our head above water. We'll be okay. But it has had some negative impacts on us, yes. I could be a lot higher than I am. But because of my position as chairman of the tribe, I must balance Republican, Democrat, and my participation with both. I don't want to make it seem that I favor one over the other. Again, it's a balancing act. So, I mean, if I wanted, I could be very high in the Republican Party. And the reason I am a Republican is because I appreciate and I respect the mantra of the Republican Party, that is independence, self-sufficiency. You can do it on your own. You don't need a handout. If you need a handout, it's okay, but for the most part, you can do it on your own. Be self-sufficient, be self-sustaining. That's very important to me, and that's what I try to instill in the membership as well, to be able to say, I can do this on my own. I need a little help sometimes, but it's important to, when you need a little handout, that's okay. But the other side, the Democrats, they like to hand out to get your support, and that there's always when you give out expecting something in return, that's not good. I don't think. I think it's important to remain that self-sufficient and independent. And so that's why I'm Republican.
Are you a friend of President Obama? Yes. Thank you very much. Very nice answer. Sir.
Yes. This is Karen. This is our Secretary Treasurer. She's also my cousin.
Yeah. Cousin? Oh. You'll be connection in the White House.
I should probably have this in a frame, but...
You've been friends with President Bush too?
Yes. I've had several meetings with presidents from Ronald Reagan on. I've been in the first time I was in the White House. I was with President Reagan in the west, not the West Wing, the East Wing of the Capitol, in his conference room, the one that's always in the pictures. I was in there with President Reagan.
Did any of them, ask you about your name?
No, none of the presidents have. And I've met with every president since Ronald Reagan. I've been at the White House with them, talking to them, but none of them have. Naturally more about the Native American issues, Indian issues, just because that's who I'm back there representing. Yes. I'm representing Native American people, the Indian people, so those are the issues that come up. There's also questions about overall community-wide questions, questions that have an impact on the community or on the state, across the board. So it affects all people, not just Indian people. I mean, I think it's important that you just cannot keep presenting yourself, well, what about this Indian issue? What about that Indian issue? There's issues affecting the city or the state or the people across the country. I've been to a couple of events put on by Serbian organizations, Serbian people. I am not necessarily a Orthodox person. I have more of a Catholic. I was raised Catholic, but I'm not. But to be honest, I'm not a practicing Catholic. I have developed a sense of who my own personal religious beliefs, and they are not part of an organized religion, be it Orthodox or Catholicism or Christian or anyone else. It's just something that's more personal to me, which I take. So, and Rocco here has attempted to get me involved more at times, more involved with the Serbian community here and also in Los Angeles, particularly with the church. It's something that he has not yet been able to accomplish fully, but he's here today.
Thank you.
I'm deeply honored to understand that I have been perhaps the opportunity exists that I may be extended the citizenship or a honorary citizenship of Serbia. I'm deeply honored, and I'm sure, given the opportunity, I would be more than happy to go back to Serbia to receive it, definitely. As far as becoming an actual citizen, I'm still first and foremost American citizen, and I don't believe that we can accept dual citizenships. So I'd accept it as an honorary citizen, which again it would hold a very deep honor within me to know that I've been accepted by the Serbian people and the Serbian government in that way. That is truly an honor. Yes. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Talking about investments, direct investments in another country, probably not. Particularly that far away from our home base here in Southern California, here in our little Coachella Valley, Palm Springs Valley. I don't think that we would see fit to go outside the country, outside California, much less outside the country. So no, that would not happen. As far as people have asked me to go down in other places as well to potentially have investments in other states and other countries, namely Mexico. They've asked me that too, but I've always had to respectfully decline. I'm sure it'd be very beneficial for everyone concerned, but our outreach is limited. So, as far as potential lobbying on behalf of the Serbian people, the Serbian government in Washington particularly, it would probably depend upon the issue. What is the issue? Why is it necessary? What would you expect of me to lobby, and how? And would I couldn't do it at the same time that I was say if I'm back there lobbying for the tribal issues. I wouldn't feel right trying to have a dual course in that way. It would have to be one issue, one representative for one organization rather than two. Separately, perhaps.
Do you want to visit Belgrade?
I'd love to visit Belgrade. I mean, my goodness gracious, I understand that it is a beautiful country, particularly when it was all together at one time. It was all together. It was, I wish I could have had the opportunity back then to do it, but I'd love to go visit Belgrade, definitely. Sure. Oh yes. And I was telling my cousin Peggy who lives in Cleveland right now. She just was here last week, and she was here for a week, and she visited me. And then I have cousins in Indiana from Gary. I was telling them that I've been talking to Rocco and issues concerning me going back there, and they say you'd really love it, and I'm getting more information from them as far as my family side on my dad's side to better understand who and what, because my kids are asking. Yeah. My kids are the ones who are asking me, right?
About Serbia.
Yeah, because they want to know. I mean, they understand that they also grew up within the native culture, but they say, I'm also Serbian, Dad.
Oh, very nice.
I have the Serbian blood too, and I'm interested. And so I mean, they're inquisitive, and they want to know who they are, well-rounded, not just one. They know they came from more than one culture. So, which I find rather exciting, and rather, I'm gratified that they feel that way, and I want to know more about who they are. 2007 Person of the Year. I never knew this was going to happen until I saw the magazine when it came out.
Person of the Year.
2007.
Yes.
This is Leslie. Very beautiful girl. This is when we signed the compact, the new compact for the gaming compact for our new casino, or for the new extended terms.
I think that he write a check for you, 1 billion.
No, we're writing a check for him. This is my mother, 1955, all-woman tribal council, Elizabeth Monk, Gloria Gillette, Viola Ortner, and Eileen Miguel. This is when they signed the first long-term leasing act. This is the Indian congressman that signed the long-term, that sponsored the legislation to allow for the tribal spa hotel. First Indian long-term lease, the tribal council developed that as well for the law. That tribal elder, basket maker, the opening of the spa hotel, Frank Bogert, good old Frank, Eileen Miguel, Viola Ordner. This was the developer of the hotel, these two, spa hotel.
Well, Dad was my inspiration. You know, I mean, he had been chairman for all these years, and here he was going back to go get his degree in business. So, you know, if he can do it, and he doesn't have any time.
Well, I've been with the casino from the opening, actually before we opened, and Richard has been our leader, our inspiration, and has directed us in this whole business enterprise on behalf of the Agua Caliente people, the tribe, and it's made a great difference for our valley. Of course, you know, we live here in the Coachella Valley, the Palm Springs area in California, and Richard has been an absolute force for good and for jobs and for creating business.
Tell us about yourself, your family, if you could address your health concerns at this time. Well, actually, my personal being, I am still, I don't know, I don't like talking about myself.